that time of year. So dragging a sled without snow, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I am really and truly energized by the fact that I'm finally returning back to the Bushcraft site. So new season starts. I'm hoping to come by a lot, pretty often in the next couple of months. So hopefully we're gonna go back to some more regular scheduling of having some videos up for you guys. Hopefully you guys won't have to wait too long. Hope you guys enjoy this video. It's gonna be great. So our last reflective wall, no longer a wall, but that's easy enough to fix. We also have the wood that we used on the other side of the reflective wall. So we're gonna rebuild all that. We put it aside. So this is one of the many projects we have for this fall. Today, what I wanna do is I wanna work on the spring. That is key. We need to have water. So a couple of years ago, my buddy Simon and I, we basically reshaped a bit this little small spring. We dug out some of the rock, dropped in a reservoir, and put in a pipe, and we've had running water year round, which has been fantastic, even in the dead of winter. But right now, for the last little while, it really hasn't been flowing like it should. It is still flowing, so it is still usable, but I want to improve it so that we don't have to wait as long to fill out our water bottles and all that. So this is my project for today. If I can get this done today, I'll be a happy guy. So a lot of work to do, some fairly decent sized rocks to move, and hopefully our reservoir is still in good condition. So away we go. As you can see, there's a rock in there that we had put in just to weight it down, but there's an awful lot of sludge in there, silt, over the last couple of years. So I'll get that cleared out. Whew. Well, unfortunately, taking it out was the easy part. Lining it back up is going to be a little bit more difficult. So this is what's going to take a big chunk of my time. I also got a new pipe for us to use. I gotta rebuild it so that the water rises above the hose. Most of the rock that I'm getting to kind of looks like this, but if I go deep enough, you get this finer stuff, and that is much better for damming up the water. So I'm trying to use as much of it as I can, so that most of the water goes into the reservoir. You may ask why I'm not using a shovel for doing this. Well, a shovel doesn't dig very well in rock. Probably better than bare hands, but it seems to be working out okay for me. God, it's cold. Okay, I think that's enough for a base layer. Ooh. Wow, 3 hours just doing that. But it's gonna be worth it. Critical for our winter camping trips. And look at the difference between now and at the start. Fantastic. Ugh. Hey, back at camp. Exhausted from, well, mostly coming up that hill. But this sheet here used to cover one of our shelters. We put it here to cover some firewood to keep the rains off. But the problem with doing that is it also kind of keeps the humidity in. So I'm going to open it up so for the rest of the fall, hopefully it's going to be a dry one and plain. Anyway, I'm going to open it up so that we can dry some more firewood for next winter. Sorry folks, the battery ran out while I was doing that, but I'm really happy. The wood is nice and dry, nice and light, so this worked out a treat. A lot of spider webs though, but no big deal. But I'm really happy about that. I mean, this is not the best kind of firewood, it's softwood, but having a nice dry bunch of that is going to be great for this winter. Awesome! I'm taking a break. All the birch posts we have here, they're still doing fairly well. If we were put in the ground a few years ago, we used to use spruce for it, but they would rot really quick. But the reason that we're here is because we used to have a much larger winter tent, and since we've built our stone hut, there hasn't been the need to bring it anymore. So it just looks like a weird circle, so I'm just going to take it out. They are starting to mushroom out a little bit, although they're still in really good shape. I'm really surprised. But it's time to take them down. So I'm not keeping the stove going all night. This is just to enjoy the evening, sit by the fire. I brought 2 summer sleeping bags, so that should be more than enough to keep me warm for the night. If I need to, I'll throw in a couple of pieces of clothing with it. But yeah, perfectly snug in there. This tent's not too bad. I like it, but it takes a long time to set up. It's a lot of different hooks and attach points and all that, so it's not the fastest setup, but at least I'll have a nice warm stove with me. Okay, got most of camp set up. It's not going to be super cold tonight. It's supposed to be around 10 degrees Celsius. Perfectly survivable without a stove, but I'm going to be sitting back, and I like to be nice and warm. It's been fairly dry lately, so a stove is safer than an open fire. So we're going to go check out how our spring is doing. Hopefully still running good. She's flowing well. Water's clean. That's pretty sweet. Okay, it would take around 5 to 10 minutes to bring a 4-liter jug full. So we're going to try this as 1 liter. I'll times it by 4 and I'll give us an idea how much faster it is now. We're doing good. We're doing great. And the water levels aren't that high, so this is fantastic. Here you go. Nice. This is late summer, really early fall, so I still would treat the water. In late fall or winter, early spring, I drink straight, but this time of the year, I do have a filter here, so. Or you can boil it. Oh, that's good water. That's the best water. Let's bruise. White spruce. That's why I cut them so short, because they're so full of knots, they're hard to split. I mean, a log that short should split easily. Ah. To me, the highlight of this tent is I can start a fire in shoulder season, sit here, and enjoy the heat right next to me. It's not freezing tonight, but it's not a warm night. If I wanted to, I could close the other side and trap some of that heat too. So if it was even colder, I would close the other side. This is nice. Like I said before, it's not the easiest tent to put up, but it definitely is a great shoulder season tent. You could use it in the middle of winter too. It takes 2 seconds to heat up because it's so small. Okay, so in here I have some meat pie. Traditionally we have this around the holiday season, but thank goodness for Sandra and her mom. You can have meat pie all year round. So we've had this one in the freezer for a little bit. We had half of it the other day. It's delicious. I'm gonna heat it up next to the stove, and that's gonna be my supper for tonight. So as is my habit, I'm gonna have a late supper. Had my meat pies warming up. Hopefully I can show you. I've never done a good job at showing what this looks like. This is one of my favorite meals. I love it. Wonderful out in the woods, simple and delicious. I'm gonna enjoy this. Well, that's gonna wrap her up. I've closed up the right side of the tent, and now all the heat is just coming out of this side. I was just sitting here after supper and thinking about how quiet it was. Not a sound, like nothing. And then I started hearing a sound like 25 coyotes howling about a kilometer away. So they're a fair distance, and I got a wood stove. Never had an issue here, so I'm not too concerned, but it's always something. It plays in the back of your mind when you hear it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed so far. There's more to come tomorrow, mostly talking about future plans and some of the equipment that I've brought. I've brought quite a bit because I'm leaving some of it here. So tomorrow I've got to tackle that, and then fairly early after that I have to head home. I have to go visit some family. So hope you guys have enjoyed so far. There's still more to come, and it's great to be back. It's so great to be back. I love this place. I love it. Morning, folks. Well, it was an interesting night. It was really cold last night. I was really happy to have the stove to sit by. I did let the stove die when I went to bed, and the sleeping bags kept me nice and warm. I woke up off and on during the night, but all in all, not too bad. So now it's time to get up because I really have to get going pretty quickly. A little bit more to come. So I'd mentioned that I had brought a couple of tools for some future work around the camp. These are the ones that I have. When we were doing a build of the stone hut, Brandon had a mattock, and it worked fantastic to cut through root, to dig up, to move rock. It was except for one time when we broke it, but still, it worked fantastic. And I figured it'd be great for what I want to do. Last year I worked on trying to level out the floor, and I brought the wrong kind of tools, and it was better than was previous year, but I still want to do some more work to it and make it look really nice. Now I know Brandon and Simon are going to make fun of my hobbit-sized mattock here, but hey, it works for me. It's nice and light, and the shovel is much shorter as well than the previous ones I've had, so it makes it a lot easier to bring it in and out of the woods here. And also, perfect for this kind of small size shelter here. I'll be able to work away with this tool, I think, a little bit easier than the larger size one. That's my excuse. So there's my gear bomb. It usually happens whenever I go camping. So pack up the tent and the stove and everything else and go on to the next steps. But yeah, the tent worked out great. I was really comfortable. Since the wood was a lot drier in there than I expected, I'm going to leave that down when we're not here, because you always get fall rain. So I'm really happy with the fact that that wood was really dry. Well, it was great to finally be back at the Bushcraft site, start to get to work on the new season. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm so happy that the spring is done. That is a crucial piece to make sure that we have an enjoyable trip whenever we come here, to have water all year round. Trust me, lugging water is one of the heaviest things you have to move around when you're camping. So when we're here for a week at a time, having that is a godsend. So I'm so happy to have that done. Again, we have a lot planned. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done, a lot of maintenance. And Sandra is going to be joining me for sure, and hopefully some of our friends too. Again, I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you all again next time. Take care.